North House and managed to chat a few moments with her best friend, Addie North. One call was Mrs. Winston asking the time, and Katie realized it was after 1 o'clock. At the next lull, she removed her sandwich from the waxed paper and munched it while she watched the board. The light for Foster's sawmill came on. She plugged in. "Operator!" Bart Foster's deep voice filled her ears. I'd recognize that voice anywhere. Katie pressed the palm of her hand to her chest where her heart galloped. "Mr. Foster, I'm sorry I missed your call last night." "I had a most rewarding chat with your father," he said, a smile in his voice. "Did he tell you?" Her pulse thundered in her ears. "He did not." "Excellent. I wish to tell you of our conversation myself. Might I call you tonight?" "Of course." She wasn't often so tongue-tied. All her dreams of respectability lay within her grasp. From the corner of her eye, she saw her boss step into the small room. "I won't be home until after 7. Will that be too late?" "Of course not. I shall call at 7:30. "I look forward to it. Did you wish to place a call?" "Someone must be there since you are not quite yourself." The amusement in his voice deepened. "Connect me with your father's haberdashery, please." "I'll see you tonight." "Of course." She connected the cord to the shop, then turned to face Mr. Daniels. "I just stopped by to commend you on the way you handled the fire call, Miss Russell. You kept your head about you in a most admirable fashion." She stood to face him. "The children, are they all out safely?" He nodded. "I just came from the site. The building is a total loss, but everyone is safe, thanks to your quick call to the fire department that I was told about. Well done. I'd like you to consider more hours. You're the best operator I have. People like you, and you're most efficient." She couldn't stop the smile that sprang to her lips. "Thank you, sir. I'm honored. I love my job." "Then you'll increase your hours? I'd like you to work 6 days a week." She realized the plum that had been thrown into her lap. These were tough times, and jobs for women were scarce, but her parents, especially in the light of Bart's courting, would be less than pleased. "Katie?" "I would like nothing better, Mr. Daniels, but I fear I'm going to have to cut my hours instead. Nell will be delighted with the extra work." Will Jesperson brushed off his hands and surveyed the gleaming glass on the Fresnel lens in the light tower. Whether he'd done it properly was up for debate, but he liked the way the sun glinted through the lens and lit the floor of the tower. He glanced outside again. He'd found it hard to keep working when he would rather study the clouds and the waves from this vantage point. Beautiful place, this rocky Northern California shoreline. He still couldn't believe he had landed such a perfect job. Instead of pursuing his hobby once a week, he could do it every day. There were weather balloons in the shed just waiting to be used. He eyed the rolling clouds overhead and held up a finger. The wind was coming from the north. Was that common here? He'd have the time and equipment to find out. He stepped outside and leaned against the railing. The beauty of the rolling sea transfixed him. Whitecaps boiled on the rocks poking up from the water at the mouth of the bay. Seeing them reminded him of his grave duties here, to save lives and warn ships of the dangers lurking just below the surface of the sea. Squaring his shoulders, he told himself he would keep the light shining bright, both here at the lighthouse and in his personal life. God had blessed him with this position, and he would do his best to honor him with his work. He removed his pocket watch, glanced at the time, and then stared back out to sea when he heard a man yell. Were those shouts of alarm? Through the binoculars, he saw a ship moving past the bay's opening. A puff of smoke came from a smaller boat trailing it. Gunfire? The small craft caught up to the ship, and several men clambered up the mast. Pirates! Will pressed against the railing and strained to see when he heard more shots across the water. Additional men poured onto the ship and were already turning it back toward the open ocean. He had to do something. Turning on his heel, he rushed toward the spiral staircase. The metal shook and clanged under his feet as he